Despite government's intervention to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa, sanitation remains a challenge. The streets are usually awash with debris after every downpour, the consequences of the indiscriminate way of disposing refuse. Last week's downpour in the capital, which also caused flooding, left in its wake a lot of debris. Juliet Metal Edmonds visited some areas in Accra and brings you a report on the sanitation situation after the downpour.
What comes to mind when you hear the word Sama or the town council? What was the reaction when they visited your homes? Today, these town council or Sama no longer visit homes to keep people on their toes. Their absence has led to the increased insanitary conditions in the country, especially in the capital city.
First, Sama chemeba
in our time, anytime you hear of the Saman or town council inspectors are around, you quickly make sure your entire compound is neat.
When the
health inspectors come around, they inspect the water we drink, and if dirty, you will pay a fine.
It is sad to see most people dumping refuse into gutters during the rainy season with the mindset that the rain would wash the refuse away. These waste end up in gutters and lagoons, causing flooding. Accra usually gets flooded each time it rains. Gutters and storm drains overflow their banks. Floodwaters full of debris spread onto the streets and into people's homes. Engineering defect in the drainage system and irresponsible disposal of waste are largely blamed for this. This is the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, a suburb of Accra. This waste seen here is as a result of the rain. Mind you, the segregation was not done by anyone but happened after the flood. The situation has turned a 3-lane road into a single lane due to the debris on the street. Most streets visited after the downpour in the capital show how seriously the debris has spread onto the streets. The National Sanitation Day was an initiative to get people to clean the city and their homes of filth. While some say the situation can be improved, others have called for an all-hands-on-deck approach in order to achieve the president's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa.
Do you want change or you don't want? You want to live as you are? As soon as you pick up the word change and you're ready to struggle for it, to fight for change, know that you are stamped with death. It is the burden of leadership. And people will go out of their way to destroy you. Those who are enjoying what we might refer to today as black-on-black exploitation. There are people who want us to be like this, and the others who want change. And given the kind of society Africa is in, anytime the word change comes up, people become frightened. They want the status quo. Whenever there is rubbish, you go there and you put on the light, what you find is what? Rats. The rats want the rubbish to be there. Try to drive them out and they'll try to fight you.
An expert in water, sanitation and hygiene, WASH, Mrs. Theresa Swansea Baffo, called for the involvement of the town and country planning in the construction of our drainage systems. According to her, the environmental sanitation policy, which expired in 2015, must be reviewed.
Sanitation is not the work of the government alone. It's everybody's responsibility. When you build on waterways, it's not right. You need to pull it down. When people throw rubbish away and then they are caught, we need to stop politicizing these occurrences. We need to ensure that people pay for wrong behavior.
Mrs. Swansea Buffer called for the implementation and enforcement of the sanitation bylaw. An assembly member for Osukin Kanwe, Mr. Henry Kote, entreated Ghanaians to change their attitude towards the environment.
When it rains, we are aware that people throw refuse into the drains. And that is another major issue that we want to tackle. We are ready with people who will be going to the communities to educate people, as we've been doing all the time, and we will start arresting them. We want people to change their attitude, so that they will not throw refuse anywhere.
Accra was selected from 333 applications to join the 100 resilient cities in 2014. Improving management of flooding, waste and sanitation was among the 5 key areas to be tackled. But how far is the situation after the preliminary resilience assessment summary was launched by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly?
This is the time, if you are mayor and you have BP, it can easily rise because everybody is on you. I mean, you hear big men in this country even calling on you. What's your preparedness? What are you doing? Because anytime it rains, it comes with this attendant disaster. So how do we prepare in advance to make sure that the city does not suffer any disaster when it rains?
An advisor of advocacy and communication, Mrs. Consolata Soyiri Dasa, said sanitation systems should be linked to the court. This, she thinks, can improve the situation.
We have so many strategies, we have so many policies in sanitation. And for me, I think that government needs to harden its muzzle a little bit on citizens to ensure that people do the right thing. If we have days, for instance, for people who live in a particular area, a van comes around, we are supposed to leave our garbage containers outside. If it's a basin, a box, or whatever, people leave it outside and the van comes to pick. We are levied per household. Maybe it could be included in the household levies, the house rents, or the landlord's bills that they have to pay.
Will there ever be a season where Ghanaians can go to bed knowing that they will not wake up in a pool of water? Who do we blame for the challenges we face through floods? Can we achieve a Ghana without floods? Well, an attitudinal change towards the environment will prevent flooding.